So I'm Melissa Gilbert. I'm president of the board, and I'd like to welcome you to our regular business board meeting, May 18th. I'd like to make sure, I think everybody's aware that due to Governor Wolf's mandates, this meeting is being made public and recorded through Zoom using the link and password which was posted prior to the start of the meeting. Public comments will be taken in advance and during the meeting to an email account, which is board public comment. That's one word, board public comment at lmsd.org. Every consideration will be given to read the comments, but can't be guaranteed. And public comments not read will be posted to the agenda the following day. No live comments will be taken, and all participants will be muted. When emailing, please state the your full name and address within the district so that we can read your comment. So with that, I will turn it over to Superintendent Copeland.
Thank you, Dr. Gilbert. We are pleased, let me start with some highlights. We're pleased to congratulate our Lower Merion School District National Merit Scholarship winners from Harrington High School, Patrick McGann, Sumnu Zhao, Emily Wright, and from Lower Merion High School, Samantha Anderer, Annie Liang, and Sophie Yang. Congratulations are also in order for Lower Merion High School teacher Kevin Grugan, who was voted Coolest Teacher of the Year by his students on the local Preston and Steve show on WMMR. So we're also pleased to share that for the 10th year in a row, Lower Merion School District received a Best Communities for Music Education designation from the NAM Foundation for its outstanding commitment to music education. Finally, it is my pleasure to recognize our employees who are marking their 25th anniversary with our district. Ordinarily, they would be attending this meeting in person, and their supervisors would be invited to say a few words about each of them. This year, we'll be recognizing them virtually, some of whom are with us tonight, and I'll turn the Zoom over to Ms. Buckman, our Director of School and Community Relations, who will share a video tribute.
Let's hope.
The Lower Merion Board of School Directors is pleased to recognize the following employees for their 25 years of service to our district, our students, and our community. Pat Cassidy is a bus driver who says he finds working in Lower Merion pleasant. His supervisors add that he's been an asset to the district, who is consistently reliable and always welcoming and helpful to new drivers. Amy Colburn is a 6th grade ELA teacher at Ballackinwood Middle School. She's also taught 6th and 7th grade math and 6th grade science. She shares that she treasures the relationships she's formed with her students and that she is consistently in awe of their amazing accomplishments. She says she's proud of them and honored to have been a part of their lives. Larry Giaquinto is a lead mechanic at Rock Hill Road. He says the best thing about working in Lower Merion is the people. Lori Gilman is a receptionist at Lower Merion High School who has also served as a teacher in the district, but that's just one part of her connection to LMSD. She graduated from Lower Merion High School and her sons graduated from Harrington. All still live in the district, and she says the community is a special part of her life. She adds that when she decides to end her career, it will be with wonderful memories of Lower Merion. Russ Lowy is an art teacher at Lower Merion High School and the department chair. He's coached boys and girls volleyball, has been a class sponsor, and a student government sponsor. He's also held leadership positions in the LMEA. He says the best part of his job is the wonderful things his students have taught him. Samantha Mancini is a kindergarten teacher at Gladwin Elementary School. She says teaching kindergarten filled the void left as her own children grew up. She adds that working in a district with principals and teachers who are passionate about children has been rewarding, motivating, and fulfilling. Sharon Schindler is a 7th grade science teacher at Welsh Valley Middle School. She's also taught 7th grade math and learning support and served as co-chair of ICC and CIPD for about a decade. She says the best things about her job are the students and staff at Welsh Valley whom she loves. Corethia Thomas is a senior administrative secretary in the district administration, who also serves as SAT site administrator. She says she values the wealth of knowledge she's obtained and the quality of skills she's learned over the years, along with all of the great people she's met and the friends she's made. Carrie Vogt is a third grade teacher at Belmont Hills Elementary School. She also taught third grade at Penn Valley. She says her job has enabled her to connect with students, parents, and colleagues and to make lifelong friends. She adds that she works with amazing teachers who inspire her on a daily basis. Once again, to all of our 25-year honorees, on behalf of the school board and our grateful community, thank you and congratulations.
And that concludes my report and highlight. Nice job, community relations, and congratulations to all those folks for the many years of service to Lower Merion Schools. Dr. Gilbert?
Oh, so sorry, Melissa. Me.
Thank you, Denise.
Yeah.
Thanks for unmuting
You
me.
should-
So,
you should-
and
yeah.
thank you. That was such. Thanks. That was such a wonderful presentation, and on behalf of the entire board, congratulations to everyone on their 25-year anniversary, and we appreciate everything you've done and everything that you are continuing to do. One second here. At this time, we're going to move to our the next part of our agenda, which is the committee meeting reports. So we've held many committee meetings, and at this time, Ms. Robinson, can you provide the Finance Committee reports from April 22nd, 29th, and May 13th, please?
Oh. Hold on. Sorry.
That's okay. Thanks, Denise. This is not easy.
I'm just going to go ahead and unmute them. I'm doing all this other stuff in the background. Sorry.
Thank you.
Yep.
It's really okay. Take your time. Ms. Robinson?
Thank you. I'll be summarizing 3 separate Finance Committee meetings that have been recorded and are available for viewing on lmsd.org website. The meetings took place over Zoom as we're following the governor's mandate during the COVID-19 pandemic. And during the April 22nd meeting, we took a detailed look at the student services and special education budget for 2020 to 2021. The department covers school health and student safety, clinical services and gifted education, counseling, testing, and holistic supports, and special education. Team members include a large, broad group of specialists and therapists who are highly trained for their function. The special education portion of the department budget is the largest of the 4 functional areas included, and expenditures for the 2020 to 2021 school year total $50,060,512. Next comes the counseling department total, which is $5,445,783. The remaining areas are health services at $4,665,449 and clinical services at $2,691,115. The total department budget is $62,862,909 as compared to $59,232,511 in 2019 to 20 school year, a $3.6 million or 6.13% increase. In all the areas of the department budget, the biggest cost is personnel. The budget supports many students in the district, specifically 17% of the total student enrollment of 8,800 students with IEPs, 14% with GIEPs, and 10% with 504 plans. In sum, approximately 40% of our 8,800 students receive some type of specialized service to achieve their full academic potential. Health services is a broad area providing services to approximately 15,000 students in our 10 public schools and 20 in-district non-public schools. Key drivers of the health services budget include Department of Health mandates, requirements of Pennsylvania School Code, required services for students with disabilities, and services to non-public schools. Clinical services includes school psychologists, school social workers, and mental health coordinators, as well as crisis intervention support. One important function of the clinical service area is called Child Find, where the district is required to identify, locate, and evaluate all children with disabilities through age 21, regardless of the severity of the disability. Key drivers of the budget include highly qualified staff required to perform at high levels of efficiency during the school year and during the summer months. Federal and state mandates, such as Child Find and our universal screening for gifted students. Our school counselors and college access counselors provide a comprehensive school counseling programming to systematically address the academic, career, and personal development of our students. They assist students in exploring, planning, and realizing individual interests, abilities, and goals, in addition to maintaining and managing and overseeing 504 plans. Our special education area includes approximately $4.2 million budgeted for gifted services. Overall, currently, 1,246 students, including 99 duly identified, receive gifted and special education services. That leaves $45.8 million for special education. Our district has a commitment to have meaningful inclusion of students with disabilities. Key drivers of this budget include federal and state mandates, IEPs that are highly individualized and require specific support services. Newly enrolled students are coming to school with many needs, and some services are beyond our control, including out-of-school tuition and contracted services. That concluded the meeting on April 22nd. The next meeting took place on April 29th. The first area we discussed was the Information Systems Department budget for 2021, for 2020 to 2021. The total budget for the Information Systems Department is $5,615,577. Personnel costs are approximately $3,070,000 of this total. Overall, the Information System Department maintains and services over 15,000 network devices and other technology equipment, software, and online services affecting students and those involved in supporting or educating our students. As textbooks and informational material move online, the Information Systems Department is an increasingly important part of our students' education. The Information Systems Department isn't only helping students, though. Among its customers are the parent guardian community, where they support their approximately 33,000 online accounts. A large part of the budget is in our instructional computers and one-to-one initiative. High school accounts for approximately 45% of the $2.6 million allocated to instructional computers and one-to-one. Middle school makes up about 24%, and elementary is another 28%. The remainder is district-wide usage of 3%. The district also has an initiative to make its website more accessible and making it ADA compliant with accessibility or ally technology. The Information System Department has a 5-year obsolescence plan, which it updates regularly to budget its financial needs. Several projects including updating servers, projectors, security camera servers, updating wireless and network storage arrays. We then discussed the staffing overview of the entire district for 2020 to 2021. Other recorded meetings may have gone over the staffing for a specific department, but this is a summary of the whole district, including all departments. Lmsd is committed to delivering a high-quality curricular, co-curricular, and extracurricular experience in a safe and welcoming environment. Lmsd provides a diverse array of services to its 8,800 students, 17,500 parent guardians, and a growing community of over 60,000 residents. Salary and benefits comprises 76% of the overall budget of the entire district. Staffing in turn is primarily formula and need driven. Principal influencers of staffing include class size guidelines, Pennsylvania Department of Education case guidelines for Chapter 14 and IEPs, caseload guidelines for gifted staffing under Chapter 16, and instructional and behavioral aids based on IEP requirements. Enrollment growth is an overarching driver on all staffing needs. The student population profile includes general education students, students with individualized education plans, students with gifted IEPs, students with 504 plans, English language learners, and economically disadvantaged students, and chronically absent students. Enrollment, in addition to growing, is also coming in with more needs. In 2015, 13.9% of students needed specialized services, whereas in 2019, the percentage has grown to 16.3%. Budgeting is begun in December of the previous year. LMSD departments and schools are asked to submit a list of staffing requests. These requests are vetted through department directors and ultimately through the superintendent. In the end, less than 40% of the staff originally requested are being proposed in the 2020 to 2021 budget. That concludes my summary of the April 29th meeting. Now on to the May 13th meeting. During the May 13th meeting, we took a deeper look at the Curriculum and Instruction Department budget for 2020 to 2021. This meeting and related PowerPoint were geared towards conveying the Lower Merion curriculum experience, which goes beyond LMSD programs, textbooks, content, assessments, and curriculum maps. LMSD provides a range of experiences that all students can experience and aspires to provide transformational curricular experiences. Providing the LMSD student experience includes a well-rounded program with student choice at its core. The Elementary Curriculum Department budget for the 2020 to 2021 school year was $629,086 and is comprised of professional learning and development of teachers and staff totaling $311,227, software and technology of $212,986, and textbooks and digital resources of $104,873. At the secondary level, the curriculum department budget of $1,337,095 is comprised of $287,767 of professional learning, $521,713 of software and technology, and $527,615 of textbooks and digital resources. Key drivers of the curriculum department's budget include curriculum adoption and updating, strategic plan related initiatives, and responding to program evaluation findings. That concludes my summary of the 3 Finance Committee meetings which were held since the last regular business board meeting. If you are looking for additional information on the specific department budgets, please feel free to view these recorded meetings on the LMSD website. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Robinson. I appreciate the amount of time and effort the administration and the Finance Committee have taken to reviewing the budget. At this time, I'm looking for the May 5th Curriculum Committee meeting report. I believe that's going to be Ms. Finger.
Thank you, Dr. Gilbert. And I am going to summarize the meeting. We had presentations last week that were recorded, as well as during the Curriculum Committee meeting, where people are able to go back and take a look in more depth at the slide presentations. But Dr. Paul and Mr. Mitchell gave a presentation of the achievement team, whose goal is to develop individualized strategies and increase student success in general education classes. This is an ongoing continuous process with an ongoing feedback loop with formative recommendations continuing to emerge. The achievement team is a collaborative opportunity for multiple people with different experience to make sure that every student gets what they need to find success in the classroom. This is a group that meets weekly to discuss specific students. From 2006 to 2018, there were actually only 2 instructional support teachers supporting 6 elementary schools. This made the process site-based rather than district-driven. In 2017 to 2018, Mr. Copeland asked that the academic support programs become the focus of the evaluation, and the achievement teams were included in this across the K through 12. Several recommendations came out of the observations, including addressing inefficiencies and inconsistencies in the referral process, increasing time for the instructional support teachers to work directly with students, as well as be able to collaborate with each other. What has been changed so far is changing the staffing structure by increasing student support, building a database of proven interventions organized by academic need, dedicated collaboration time each month to discuss how they can refine the process and make it more efficient and effective by providing high-level interventions regardless of which building they're in. Single uniform referral portal, so when teachers want to collaborate with an achievement team, it increases the efficiency, shortening the time between request and collaboration. Some next steps will be to continue to ensure that every child can meet success in the classroom by providing more professional development for all on providing interventions in regular education classroom setting, this online database, streamlining the referral process, having consistent expectations for student referrals to the achievement teams, a better ability to review student data and monitor progress. And this is for the purpose of continued refinement. A number of textbooks were recommended to the Facilities and Purchasing Committee, Pearson Interactive Music Series, Foundations of Business, the AP Bio Campbell Biology in Focus, CK through 12 open source, that's actually a free open source material, and Deep Learning Illustrated, a visual interactive guide to artificial intelligence. This year's one book, Lmsb, is being hosted by the science department. This is in its 6th year, and the book is Pandora's Lab by Paul Offit, 7 unique stories. And then finally, Dr. Paul presented information on the Family Pulse survey. This was a survey that went out to district families. Some key highlights of findings and themes are keep guidelines from the Illinois State Board of Education in mind when we're thinking about the kinds of and amounts of time for certain experiences we're trying to provide for K through 12. Every household has their own unique set of circumstances, realities, philosophical perspectives affecting their experiences with remote instruction. Streamlining district communication, learning materials, and procedures so it's more user-friendly for families. And continuing to support teachers in their professional development in use of different tools and managing teaching online. Finally, assessment for learning rather than assessment of learning. When the grades go away, motivations shift in students for engaging in high quality work. This should be a positive. Students can take intellectual risks and reflect on their learning. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Finger. And if people are interested in the more information around the program evaluation on the achievement teams, that was the focus of the May 11th education meeting, and it's been taped. At this time, I'd like to ask that Ms. Klein reports on the May 8th policy committee meeting.
Thank you. I am reporting on the May 8th Policy Committee meeting, during which the Board Policy Committee continued its review of various policies and administrative regulations. Two updates to note. First is the impact of COVID-19 may impact a number of policies and procedures, including things like the length of the school year or emergency preparedness plans and policies. And second, as listed on our agenda, certain policies that have been referred to the Strategic Plan Committee for review, including homework, class rank, grading of student progress, and these will be addressed at curriculum committee meetings over the coming months. We reviewed for second reading policy AR 201, which is the admission of beginners. This was revised to reflect changes in Pennsylvania law regarding compulsory attendance ages. While there were no substantive changes to the law, the policy did need to be amended to reflect admission date to first grade to September 15th, moving it from September 1st, in order to meet the statutory requirement of age 6 for admission. The September 15th date allows for the changing first day of school depending on dates of Labor Day and Rosh Hashanah holiday. Subsequently, the kindergarten admission date was adjusted to September 15th to ensure consistency and prevent confusion. We also reviewed policy 816, web content development and hosting, and AR 108, the adoption of curriculum materials. These were amended to streamline the process for providing online platforms and resources for students and teachers in accordance with applicable law. These changes were made because of industry changes regarding privacy, so that companies are now more aligned with requirements of various laws and regulations. The previous language is outdated and needed to be simplified, and much of this is now addressed within each contract. Finally, we reviewed AR 245, suicide prevention and self-harming, which has been modified to align with current practice within the district, including increased support staff, such as social workers, to reflect the move toward consistent district-wide rather than school-based procedures, and to encompass the integration of the PREPARE model, which is a student-centered school safety planning and crisis model, that it's an integral student-centered piece of the district's overall operations and crisis emergency plan. There were no first readings this month, and just want to note that this was the final policy meeting of the 2019-2020 school year, and the next meeting will be scheduled for September 2020. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Klein. And I think we're going to the Facilities and Purchasing Committee meeting report, and I don't know if it's going to be Mr. Driscoll or Mr. Lee. Which one of you is going to do the honors? Denise, can you unmute with both of them and then one of them can talk?
Thank you, Denise. I'll give the report today. So we met this past Thursday.
Thank you, Mr. Driscoll.
We met this past Thursday and we began by reviewing and recommending for approval list of bills. We then went on to district contracts, some of which, two from Pearson for AP Biology textbooks, Cengage Learning for the new Foundations of Business textbook, Barnes & Nobles to purchase the one book for the whole district, another Pearson for the elementary music program, No Red Ink for professional development for teachers, Questar for renewal of DRP testing, Newsella for the renewal of online database of articles written at different levels for use across the district. I think all of that was discussed at curriculum committee. We then moved on to the purchasing report where we had contract Kistler O'Brien Fire Protection, $13,126, conduct annual inspections for fire safety across the district. Aardvark Pest Control, $36,239 for 3 years to do pest control for all buildings across the district. Fuel purchase, Papco Inc., gasoline at 98 and 44,000 cents per gallon, and Tally Petroleum Enterprise for biodiesel at $1.33. This is consortium purchase for fossil fuels from MCIU for next school year. A Tiger Shark key machine, $8,996, replace one that's past useful life. Starlight Solutions, $172,655. Excuse me, to furnish and install a new audio system for Welsh Valley's auditorium, as the current one is failing and replacement parts are getting more and more difficult to obtain. Johnson Controls Services, grand total of $97,710 to provide upgrades and maintenance to the building control systems at both Lower Marion and Harridan High School for the next 3 years. S.J. Thompson Company, $19,660.27. They will seal coat, line trim, and provide additional signage at Welsh Valley Middle School in the parking lot next to the St. Justin's, in anticipation of bus parking coming this fall. We then moved on to the other items. Delta Dental, $4.14 per employee. This is just a renewal dental coverage for our district employees for the next 2 years. Remind, $28,035 per year. This is the renewal application for district staff to send messages via personal devices such as cell phones to a group of students. You can see this being mainly used by sports teams so coaches can reach the entire team at one time. Entrado School Messenger, $16,650 per year for 3 years. The phone and email-based system that sends district-wide communications like snow closures, school-wide information like individual school closing due to power outage, or individual messages such as a low fund lunch balance to individual parents and guardians. Bike curve, various rates depending on the year, but this is a new system to provide GPS data for our buses. And then Orbit Software, 2 contracts, one for $7,745, another for $6,425. The first is renewal for bus routing software we've been using for several years. And the second contract is to integrate the GPS data from Bike Curve to improve efficiencies in developing better bus routes and scheduling. Chester Valley Engineers, an increase of $47,500. This is to assist the district in filing final plans for the modulars that will be installed at Marion Elementary this summer. School Dude, $17,926.67. 1 year renewal for software package that manages communications and organizations of facility use with non-district groups. Presentation BVM Church, $5,800 plus 8% of snow removal costs. This is, we're renting parking spaces near Penland Elementary School. Reynolds Construction, not to exceed $29,000. Given the vast number of various construction projects this summer, the district is retaining a project manager from Reynolds on an as-needed basis to help the operations crew keep those projects going. Robert Michaels and Associates is a $0 change order. Given the COVID-19 crisis, obtaining some needed metal materials to complete the masonry repairs at Penn Valley has been delayed, such that this change order is needed to push up the completion date. That's why it's $0, just a change in date. That concluded our business, and then we received an update on the new middle school. The plans and the drawings have been released, and so far the district is seeing interest from many contractors, so we are hopeful for a competitive bid process that we should be opening bids and giving and awarding contracts within the next 4 weeks, 3 to 4 weeks, something in that time frame. PennDOT has provided valuable feedback to the improvements in Montgomery Avenue in front of the new school, so we're optimistic that should go as planned. Unfortunately, the blasting at the site to make it ready for the building has been delayed due to COVID-19, but the district has been very adamant and very diligent, in conducting many home inspections, and we actually are hopeful that blasting could begin this week and carry on for the next several months, a month or two. Concluded the meeting, and our next meeting will be another virtual meeting, I'm sure, on June 4th. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Driscoll, and to the entire Facilities and Purchasing Committee for their attention to the details that you just summarized. Before we move to audience recognition, I would like to highlight a resolution that was added very recently. It's a resolution that we will be voting on in order to provide the superintendent some additional flexibility to deal with the COVID-19 pandemic this summer, including things like the establishment of remote learning, professional development, kind of figuring out a plan for the fall. So we want to make sure that he has the flexibility he needs. Mr. Roos, could you please read it and explain it before we open up for public comment?
Oh, sorry, my fault.
No problem.
Good evening. Ms. LaPera, could you scroll down to the motion?
Yes, I can.
It's under new business,
Yep.
item B under new business. It's exactly as President Gilbert just described it. It's to promote the orderly operation during the COVID-19 pandemic, which requires the superintendent and the administration to be a little more nimble in terms of making adjustments. So this empowers the school district empowers the superintendent to take certain actions to conduct the operation and function of the school district. For example, the establishment of the remote learning summer school program, creation of a reopening plan for the fall, since at this point we don't know all of the parameters that are going to exist. Staff development, which again will be something that will be important to be very nimble with, because we will not know exactly what development is going to be necessary. Some of these actions that the superintendent may need to do, which typically would be done by the board, but this would empower the superintendent to adjust the school calendar, and if needed, because of the reopening plan, adjust student days, impose staggered schedules, realign the grade with respect to these. These are all part of what would be the reopening plan. And if there's contracts that need to be entered into as a result of this, they cannot wait till the next board meeting. The superintendent can do that as long as they don't, in the aggregate exceed $50,000. And then any other action deemed appropriate without further board approval, as long as it's authorized by law and irrespective of any policies that the board has that may be to the contrary. And whatever action is taken by the superintendent is deemed to be the action of the board, with the caveat that it would need to be confirmed by the board no later than its next regular board.
Thank you, Mr. Roos. Mr. Copeland, would you be able, before we do before we take comments, there's a couple of items on the agenda around summer school that I thought you might want to just highlight, if you don't mind.
Sure. One of the things that we normally have is our extended school year program. Well, first of all of our programs we will unfortunately have to hold virtually this summer. Our extended school year program for those students through student services who are identified as part of their IEP, that will be done virtually, but also the SPIES program, which we normally do at a 6-week pace. We're going to cut that down, but more importantly, that's been a tuition-based or tuition-driven program with the Board of Education supporting those students on free and reduced lunch. This year, we're recommending that the virtual program be a tuition-free, and that the school district pick up the entire cost of the program. Those are, and as well as and any program that we use for advancement, those will go through Montgomery County Intermediate Unit as they have done in the past. We won't be able to do any of those programs within the building. We're also in the very beginning stages of looking at a summer school program that will support students who, because of the remote learning this year, we want to make sure that we provide an extra boost for all students, frankly, K-12 this summer. We are in the beginning stages of developing that. You'll hear more about that as we get closer to mid-June. But when that is fully developed, it's my recommendation that that the board support those programs also without tuition.
Thank you very much. We really appreciate, the board really appreciates the sort of both the innovativeness in response to COVID-19, as well as the attention to in recognizing the economic consequences for many families. So we appreciate that. At this time, Mr. Roos, do we have any public comments at this time?
Hold on.
Sure.
Ms. LaPera advises that there are no public comments.
Okay, So since there are no public comments at this time, for the board, are there any questions on tonight's agenda before I ask for a motion to approve as a consent agenda?
I do not see
Okay.
any raised hands, so I would say no.
Okay, great. Thank you. I don't see
Wait, we have
everybody.
one from
Okay, thank
Shayna.
you.
Hold 1 second.
That's what
Shayna.
I thought there might be one from Shane.
Yeah, Ms. Kalish.
I apologize. I was having a hard time raising my hand. I didn't want to clap.
That's okay.
My question was just really a little bit of clarity. Section 11, item E, where we approve the bond for treasurer of the board in the amount of $100,000 for the following school year. I was just hoping that Mr. Orlando, Mr. Ruth, Mr. Copeland could give me a little more clarification what that's about, what that means, what it entails for us.
Certainly. I'd be happy to explain the legal basis, and Mr. Orlando can tell you what the cost would be. But every person that's elected treasurer of a school district is required to furnish a bond before they enter their office. The school board sets the amount of the bond. The bond is generally set at an amount of money that the treasurer might have control over at a particular time. So it doesn't need to be as exorbitant as someone might think. The alternative to a bond would be for the treasurer to submit some other collateral, and that's simply not practical given the amount of money involved. So
the cost is approximately $500 a year for the bond.
Okay, thank you.
And how much is, how much, and the bond covers, the treasurer is insured, the bond covers an amount of potential loss in the amount of, I'm not sure.
It's a $100,000 bond.
Yeah. Which is all the treasurer would have access to at any point in time anyway.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, are there any other questions at this time? I don't see any. Denise, do you see any?
I do not see any, no.
Okay, so I'm going to ask if there's a motion to approve a move to a consent agenda, and perhaps somebody could raise their hand in the participants. Is somebody, I'm looking.
I got it.
Who is it?
Would you like to share?
We got lots of
Ms.
people.
Klein has raised her hand to make the motion.
Okay, and then we'll have a second, and it looks like
that would be Mr.
Mr.
Driscoll.
Mooring. Okay, Mr. Driscoll, we have multiple people. That's fine.
Okay.
Mr. Driscoll can have that one. All right. And then, so all in favor, maybe you could just raise your hand so we can see. All in favor, say aye. Actual hands. It's too hard. Great. Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining? Okay, then the motion passes. I don't think I missed anybody, did I? Okay. We will now hear from Mr. Ruth about the Sunshine Act.
Hold on 1 second. Sorry, Ken. I thought you stayed on.
Board met in executive session on 4 occasions since the last board meeting, April 27th, May 4th, and May 11th, where the topic was personnel, specifically the Lmsb agreement approved tonight. May 18th executive session tonight was regarding potential property acquisition and assessment appeal litigation.
Thank you, Mr. Ruth. Ms. LaPera, can you please share the upcoming meetings?
The Board of School Directors will be meeting on June 8th for the regular business board meeting at 8 p.m. And a special meeting of the board has been added to the schedule on June 22nd at 8 p.m. And the following committee meetings will be held via Zoom at 8:30 a.m. unless otherwise noted. We have the May 20th communications meeting at 7 p.m. May 27th Finance Committee meeting, which has also been added to the schedule, and a June 4th Facilities Purchasing Committee meeting.
I believe we have an intergovernmental meeting as
So
well.
sorry,
Is
yes,
that
May 27th at 7 p.m.
great? Okay, so just want to highlight that intergovernmental meeting for everybody.
Yes, I'll add it to the agenda.
Thank you so much. And we need to make sure we're advertising it as well. Mr. Copeland, do you have anything you'd like to add?
I would just like to take a second. I think in our HR report, we accepted with regret Scott Eveslaw's resignation as he goes off to sail his own boat in the safe harbor, we hope, of Hatboro Horsham, and congratulate him and wish him well.
And is this actually your last meeting?
No, he's got to be there for June.
Okay. All right, then I'm going to save for another meeting too. But of course, the board has regretfully accepted your resignation as well. But we still have you around, so we're not saying goodbye yet. Okay. Is there anything else, Mr. Copeland?
That concludes.
Okay, then since there's no further meeting business, then the meeting is adjourned. I hope everyone has a good rest of the evening, and please stay safe.